Okay guys, there are 7 cards in Is Your Ex Coming Back spread. As you know, this is really meant for the people who actually want their exes to come back, or maybe even wondering what is going on in their head, because they sometimes use it for relationships, especially if relationships that are on and off, and that way we find out. So these cards are called significators, meaning I picked them, and I picked them not to read them, but sort of like to read a category. Just think of them as a title on a beginning of the chapter. So altogether, they're sort of giving me the story, that entire book. I picked the first card, the Magician. In this category, not to go into details, if you order the spread, I'm going to explain in way more details what basically I meant behind this. But in short is, if this relationship was ever a go, are you swimming like up the stream and trying to make something live that really shouldn't be? Temperance card is here reversed for a reason, because upright temperance means, hey, I can glue anything, I can work on anything. So obviously this is talking about ungluing, and this is going to tell me what exactly you really need to repair in this relationship if this is ever to go. And this is if this category is really telling me, you know, green light. Then I have a Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands as significators. It could be either or. One can be you, one can be a partner that you are inquiring about. And this is the energy and the flow of information and the flow of thoughts in between the two. So now I see the Judgment, and this is like the biggie, because yeah, you know, that's that extra information. Okay, what was meant to be learned in this relationship? What lessons you have to absorb, right? Even if this is not meant to be, like, there are still lessons to do it, right? You know what they say, we meet somebody for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. And then lastly, we have Four of Wands, and Four of Wands is really talking about where is this heading. So this is a short and sweet explanation, and if you basically watch this first, now it is a good time to go back and see the entire reading. Love you. Hello Libra, and welcome to your reading for the next month and so. So this, right out of the gate, is something extremely big. 1, 2, 3, 4 majors in 7 cards, so more than a half. And it is clearly telling me a story about something that actually it's bigger than the situation that you're inquiring about. I mean, it's opening out with Death card, which many people dread. And it's clearly telling me about the end of some kind of ending. Same thing, you have Judgment here as well. That had to happen. And when I tell you this was in your best interest, you might just like scuff it aside and say, like, what the hell, you know. But it was connected to something that has been getting possibly the worst out of you. You know, like, we all have these people in our lives that some of them really kind of like make you want to be a better person, but the others take the anger and spite and everything out of you. Like, both of them are karmic relationships, and this is one of my karma cards, so it's clearly something highly past life-ish, kind of like that I see over here, because it looks like that you're resolving something that has been brewing maybe your entire life. Huh? You didn't expect that, right? So I really want to focus on this card to start with, Judgment. Why is it one of my karma cards? It's definitely clearing the slate. And it's kind of like the saying is, when you die, you know, you kind of like get this round magic, let's call it a ball, crystal ball, where you can see yourself like going through your life, and you yourself are doing this judgment, not any kind of like entity that some people call God. You are completely kind of like removing yourself out of this ego that we live in this life, and we have to kind of like conquer. This is the lesson. How do we handle that ego? How important really we are, and how do we position ourselves against the other people? And then you're looking at it and you're going, yeah, I could have done this better, and so and so. So when the judgment reverses, this is definitely that period of reflection and self-evaluation. Just think about this like sort of like a rehearsal. No, I'm not saying you're going to die, even though you kind of have this. Something is going to die though. And I really think what needs to die is some kind of attitude or some kind of like approach to things that simply did not work. Right? I really feel that you'll be arriving to some kind of like deep understanding of some kind of like, let's say, universal themes, kind of like that they're weaving throughout your life, and also what you can do to avoid these type of situations, right? Maybe you have certain things that are kept in secret. Maybe you had secretive relationship, because I see here a possible third party. I see here a possible third party. I see here also secrets. Right? You're Libra, you're air signs, so why in the world are you getting all this kind of like watery things? You know, you are one of the air signs, and I know my ascendant is Libra. We can give appearance of being highly romantic, but we also don't know. We do know that this is not lasting very long. If somebody's showering us with roses, this is great once and twice and 3 times. Let's say a month. And then, oh my God, let's talk about something, right? Just like show me that you're made of something. Like roses are great, but they have to come with something. Like my mom said, yeah, you can learn a foreign language, but without something else, like having some kind of like other trade or something to fall back on, what's the point, kind of a thing. Now, this also can appear reversed when the universe is trying to send you a message to kind of like see something bigger than you, than your situation. But this is also telling me that you're not listening. That usually happens when we want what we want. That's kind of like that ego versus like what the lesson we need to learn, right? And maybe you are not ready to step into kind of like that advanced role, and maybe you just like want to play it safe. It almost like looks like that you'll be pretending you didn't get this message. You know, like these are those red flags. I sometimes coach clients and I tell them, okay, so you just went through the stop sign, another stop sign, and then, oh, this happened to me. So which part of the stop sign you didn't get? So eventually, a red light, stop sign, you're going to run into another car. You're going to run into another problem. So you have to be honest, right? So this kind of call of destiny really never goes away. It's only kind of like getting louder and louder until you really pay attention. So it is kind of like time to push through inner fears. If your inner fear is like, well, you know, I need to negotiate, I need to kind of cave in, or else I'm not going to have him or her. You have to think about that. This, because you're Libra, and you know, if I know anything about my ascendant, I know that we are like really big inner critics. Other people can see us as attractive and pretty, and we have like those pretty dimples in our cheeks, but we see ourselves as imperfect, and yeah, I can improve, etc., etc. It's always like trying to strive for that kind of like balance, right? So it is kind of like really important to realize this in this relationship, how much of this you have counted on because of your, let's say, good looks. Right? Because you have to kind of like figure out, was it carnal, like because that's what is suggesting to me, or was it kind of like really that soul to soul connection, because that is like what is asking of you to kind of like figure it out. Like, would you feel completely comfortable having that partner around your friends, or around, let's say, so-called friends, the people who maybe are going to flirt? How would you feel about that? Would this partner just kind of like smile and say, hey, you know, I'm with someone? Or would that partner just kind of like push things away? You know, I actually lived with somebody for 13 years who was extremely handsome, and he was also very successful, so 2 whammies. And he was working in the music industry, producer, so all these like really good looking women would come and they would think, oh, you know, I'm going to just seduce him, right? And I kind of like came from a broken relationship when we met, and it was like lots of violating trust. And that guy and me were actually friends for a long time, two Aquarians. So friendship is very important, bond and loyalty is very important. And you know, in every sign you have low vibration cheaters and losers, and also in every sign you have people who are trying to overcome this kind of like bad that comes with that sign. So what he did, he installed cameras everywhere. And he said like, yeah, you can just see what I'm doing, and hopefully this is kind of like I just like really don't want any problems that you think or anything. So it's kind of funny, actually didn't even watch it, just like that put me at ease. But he would actually record stuff. I said, check what happened today. This was like this woman, so she dressed very provocatively, and she actually unzipped her, I don't know, let's call it a t-shirt. It was like not much of a t-shirt, it was just like really big bra, I guess, with her kind of like enhanced front. And she was like leaning over him with her boobs, and he said to her like, look at these cameras, my wife is watching, so I'm pretty sure she would not like me to work with you any further after this. So he has asked her to leave. And so this is kind of like a stuff where it does really come with the bond, with trust, where you're not playing poker with sweaty palms, right? The devil, however, when it shows up in a card, in a layout, always kind of like gives me appearance of there is a third party, or the third party can be very active or it can be inactive. What I mean by that, so it could be that person is actually being with someone, and I kind of like see indication of that with the High Priestess. There's like something secretive going on. It could be but it also could be just like, I mean, let's say baby's mama kind of a thing, or papa, that there is like somebody who is still there, maybe who broke up with this person, and the other person still kind of like didn't reach closure. There's like still something going on, and you would know that by feeling that discomfort. So the death card is clearly saying, look, make it or break it. If you broke it off because that could have been possible jealousy, or could be that lack of transparency, or partner was not really clear, but this also could be that you are not listening to your own voice. Sometimes you really don't need to care what they do, but you have to be ready at any point to renegotiate or like draw this line in the sand. This is saying to me that they are kind of like in a mood to maybe build or rebuild something. Clearly, you might be dealing with water sign, you might be dealing with earth sign. I also see strong Scorpio over here, so it could be that highly sexual energy. So you really need to ask yourself, Libra, what are you heading into? Because this is really telling you, how about transforming? And this is like repetition over here. How about transforming yourself? How you see the situation, how you see the partner, if you feel that you really want to stay there. Oh wow, aha moment. Kind of like, I get it, totally get it. Whatever this is. When I see this, people almost like feel that sense of relief. It's either a closure, I totally know, because Queen of Wands, it's falling into place what needs fixing. Like this whole nightmarish stuff, like the worries, what's going to happen, is he or she going to call, you know, like you're kind of like trying to find a solution of a problem, but you keep circling around. I call it wash machine brain. You keep spinning and spinning. It's like never-ending cycle. Because look at this, they have been some kind of like walls erected in the situation. The Lover's card here for them indicates that they might want a relationship. Look at these 3 sixes around a partner surrounding them. It's the karmic relationship, as I told you, and we also have a karmic card over here. There's going to be need for some kind of honesty over here. Yeah, there is a Queen of Cups. Look at this. There are 2 queens trying to figure out. Well, this person is not with another person. This doesn't mean that they don't want to be. And I think because you're air sign, like you are not so much interested, like for example, earth signs, they would be interested, are you with him or her or not? That's kind of like where it stops and starts, right? But air signs, we as air signs, we kind of like take that further. Like, we take even emotional cheating, somebody flirting on a Facebook and everything else, as cheating, right? Because it feels like betrayal of that bond. And it tells me that, if anything, this person is willing to be a flirt, willing to be around, but not for the right reason. They are willing to offer sex, but they'll be rather abrupt and even actually maybe clear that this is all they want. And maybe this is exactly what doctors order. Because the Seven of Swords over here, I mean, you are air sign, look at this. Air, 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 air. The clarity. Clarity. From the darkness to clarity. Showing up. It's kind of like, ta-da! Moment that is really happening. And this is like when Libra stops being super sweet and nice and you show your big teeth. Grandma, are you a wolf? Yes, I am a wolf. So, look at that. And something happens. Look, there's another karma card here. Oh my goodness, it might be even nasty. And that's where people can get on your bad side, when they take you for granted, when they take you, like, think that you are unintelligent, when they think that you don't get it. So they take your kindness for stupidity. And then there is like a freaking explosion. Like, I'll show you. I'm kind of like, look at that. This is your card. And the Hierophant and the Justice here, I can talk about divorce. It's a huge mess and fuss. Queen of Swords, they're becoming real jerks over here. So it's a total mess. It's kind of like totally coming out of your system. That usually happens with karmic relationships, right? And it could be just as simple that you actually do go on a date and kind of like do want to discuss, and the discussion is just like that little snowball that just like starts rolling down a hill, like, and turns into this big unstoppable ball while everybody's shouting and everybody, you did this to me, how could you do that? And that romantic evening that starts with roses and candles is getting into throwing broccoli at each other and name calling. Not so much you, I think, are able to refine for it, but what basically Libra does to really get to other people is that super duper coldness, where it's kind of like the Ice Queen, that it's just like, I'm here and you are there, because you have reached this complete moment of clarity and you're saying, this was not right, I deserve better, you are not worthy of me, you, a little miserable POS, kind of a thing. You are clearly sending that message without using this bad wording. You see, the Hangman, in the situation that needs to be fixed, you are tired of sacrificing things. You're tired of putting up with the stories. You're tired of, yeah, it's going to happen, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and also you're realizing this huge immaturity. Like, you have been dating a boy or a girl, not a man or a woman. Somebody who maybe is not even capable or willing to build something with you, because they are like in their own world. Maybe you're dealing with a person who been through some really bad breakup and who is just trying to patch things up, putting one foot in front of another, and kind of like some big kind of like thing is not even possible for them. You guys got a huge amount of major arcanas over here, and you have 2 karma cards with 3 sixes, which is extremely important. It's telling me that maybe this is a time to cut the contract, cut this karmic bond. Maybe you chase each other. I totally see this like past lives. You have known this person from before. You feel almost like glued. It's almost like a magnet. You really don't want to do it, but somehow you gravitate. But, you know, it's getting to the point that you're saying, you know, adios. It is time to kind of like let you go. I'm letting you go with, let's call it love. And I wish you all the best, but I'm letting you go because I need to heal myself. I deserve better. That's, honestly, that's what I feel. And I really think you'll be the one who is initiator, because you're kind of like realizing that you have kind of strayed, you have kind of like went down the road, which has like this steep precipice at the end of it, and sort of like it will be a one way, and you're stepping on the brakes really like really abruptly over here. So I can't wait to see that. So please make sure that you're checking this week after week, because lots of things will be rolling in this kind of like avalanche, slow start, and big crescendo in the very end. So I would love to see your comments, Libra. This might not be your situation, so if you want me to kind of like do the spread for you, and actually I do a little bit more when I do the private, contact me via cattarot.ca, and all my contact information is down in the description, and your comments are welcome. If any of this resonated, because this is a general reading, most likely not everything will, then this means these messages were meant for you. Click on the subscribe button and even the bell so you'll be invited for the live readings. And until next time, Libra, just think about this past life. Do you really want to carry this type of crapola into next life, or even in this particular life going forward? That's a question for you, and for me, you know that I love you. Hugs. Bye bye.